Welcome to How to Belong, the podcast that delves into the human quest to find a sense of belonging in what can often feel like a lonely world. Join us as we talk to guests who've navigated their own unique paths, what we like to call their hero journeys, from feeling like they don't fit in, to the profound realisation that true belonging can only ever be found from within. I'm Naomi E. Lloyd, and this is the How to Belong podcast. Hi everyone, and welcome back to How to Belong. I'm giving myself up for this episode today because it's a solo episode and I've never done one of these before. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. I hope I can somehow get through and make it interesting because it's just going to be little old me talking to you today. It's not going to be a long one. I just really wanted to jump on here and share something that that's happened in my life recently, an adventure, something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and a few stories about it and how it relates to some of the other conversations I've been having over the last few months with the guests of How to Belong, and the sort of lessons they've taught me that I took into this little adventure. So what on earth am I talking about? So basically, I've just come back from a really special holiday, a magical road trip across the deep south. My husband and I love music. We love live music, the energy, the creativity, just how connected we both feel when we're watching artists perform. My husband's a drummer and our younger son is a guitarist in a band that's doing really well. Shout out to Coast. So we spend a lot of our time in Portsmouth and in the UK enjoying live music. But taking it to our passion over to America, something we've wanted to do for quite a while. I particularly, you may have picked up, love country music. My husband loves blues and he loves rock. So we managed to sort of tick the boxes for both of us here. And that's why we went to New Orleans to sample some amazing jazz. We got a train over to Memphis and just absolutely loved the blues music there and visited Elvis's home, Graceland. And then we got a coach over to Nashville, which was the highlight of the trip for me. Just going on Broadway and all the incredible country music. And finally, this was another highlight, was going to Dollywood. I love Dolly Parton and going up to the Smoky Mountains to experience where Dolly Parton came from and her roots, and her route, to the grassroots of music and country music. So, wow, I used the word roots a little bit too many times there, didn't I? But hey ho, I'm very excited because I just love talking about this. Now, there is a reason why I'm choosing to talk to you about this, and it is about music and it is about adventure and it is about belonging. But there's another part of this. It's about something that I took with me, that I want to take with me and I plan to take with me, but I didn't realize it would be the thing that would turn out to be the main story for this episode and a story that kind of connects things together. And that is a lovely coat that I took with me. Now bear with me please, because I think you might find this quite interesting. Now, I've mentioned before that I feel sometimes that if you connect to something like a music genre, it can really help your sense of belonging in terms of it might be nostalgia, it might be that the music makes you feel good, and there's something about the type of clothing that you wear according to the music that you like. And if you go back to episode 8 in series 1, I would talk about this a lot with my amazing guest Hannah Roper, about how country music is something that she loves and that allows you to express yourself with the clothes that you wear. And of course, there's so many different types of music, different type of passion, different types of art and fashion that people tap into that ground them and make them feel as though they belong to something that gives them confidence. I really wanted to sort of tap into this part of myself, because generally I'd say in life I don't think I wear very statement type clothing. I think I'm quite safe in what I wear. I'm sure my friends would say I have a style, but I don't think I generally wear statement things. But I knew that this was going to be a big statement of a trip, so I wanted to take something that was a bit of a statement piece. So I invested in this lovely sort of blue suede 1970s rock inspired coat to take with me to on this road trip. Now it's from a UK company. They're based in Leeds, which is actually where I'm from, called Joe Brown's. If you haven't heard of them, they're a really cool. I really like them. A really cool clothing store, and they do operate online a lot. So I'm nowhere near Leeds anymore. So I tend to buy my clothes from them and the boots and the bags and things that they have online. But I saw this one coat, and if you've ever seen that film, Almost Famous, with Kate Hudson, it was out quite a few years ago. It's got that sort of furry cuffs and 1970s style lining all the way around the hem, and it's got embroidery. It's a really cool piece, and it's not the sort of thing I normally wear. But I took it with me, thinking, "Oh, I might just try wearing this and see if it sort of." Works when I'm over in America and I'm going to these different bars and country style places. I had no idea how connecting this coat would be, because when I say connecting, I mean everywhere I went wearing this coat, somebody stopped me to talk to me about the coat, and it was amazing, because I've always found, certainly in the deep south as well, and in the southern states of America, really, really friendly. People do talk and open up conversations quite easily, and I always find that, to be honest, with any live music place, and that's another reason I like it. It's just the openness and the conversations that music seem to connect people to. But this coat, honestly, it was just incredible. Whether I was in a jazz bar in New Orleans or in Graceland, where Elvis's home originally was, people would just stop me and say, "Oh my God, where do you get that coat?" Excuse the American accent. I feel a bit embarrassed trying my Yorkshire accent, but I give it a go. I had the most incredible conversations with people because they just wanted to know where I got this coat from. And of course, I very quickly said it was from Joe Brown's and somewhere, and I got it online, and I live in the UK. And oh, what a shame! And I said, well, I look me on Instagram, and I'll give you the code. But what I loved about it was the fact that it meant that I could have all these lovely conversations with people that I don't think I normally would have had, because all it takes is, "Hi, I love your coat," or "I love your jacket," or "I love your shoes," for something else to come out of a conversation. And I think now I am a complete convert to wearing statement clothing, because if that is what happens when you put something on that draws people to talk to you, then brilliant. Let's all wear standout pieces of clothing, because it was just so much fun and I loved it. And my husband was the point where he kept rolling his eye and goes, "Here we go again." And in Nashville, oh my goodness, so many people asked me where I got the coat from. So moving on from that, 'cause it sounds like I'm doing a big advertisement, and I'm really not. I just really felt that it was quite a strong example of how easy it is to make conversation with people if you just try a different tactic of saying, "I love what you're wearing," or I don't know, anything that you see about somebody that you makes a difference. Now, also, it got me thinking about Dolly Parton. Now, I mentioned that we went to Dollywood, and if anybody is aware of Dolly songs, I'm pretty sure most of you are going to be aware of Dolly Parton's, certainly her famous songs like Jolene and 9 to 5. But one of my absolute favourite songs is a song that she wrote, I think when she was very, very young, called Coat of Many Colours. And I've heard her perform this live, and I'm not going to be too embarrassed when I say I did have a little cry when she sang it, because just to explain, this is a song that Dolly wrote all about how when she was a little girl, growing up in a cabin in the mountains with her mum and dad and lots of siblings, and they were very, very poor. They didn't have a lot of money at all, and certainly not a lot of money to buy expensive clothes or any clothing, really, new clothing. And her mum decided to make her a coat out of lots of different coloured rags, which she absolutely adored as a little girl and felt incredibly proud of, and set off to school wearing it, only to find when she got there, this coat that she was so proud of was the very thing that ended up meaning she got teased all day long for wearing a poor little girl's coat. And she writes a lovely, lovely song about how it's her coat of many colours that my mama made for me. These are her lyrics. Look it up if you don't know it. I'm pretty confident most people will. If you don't, it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And it's always stuck with me about how, I think it stuck with me about that childhood feeling that you often have, that something you think is really lovely and you're very proud of can quickly be turned around by people that don't understand or want to bring you down. And I think I also resonated to that at a young age, because yes, I did listen to Dolly Parton at a young age, because when I was on road trips with my parents, that's what they played. It was either Dolly Parton or Kenny Rogers. They were the two tapes. So it's pretty embedded in me. But going back to the story of the coat of many colours, I related to it really because it's very like the story that I told in the first ever episode about the day when I was 7. I went to school wearing brand new hearing aids, thinking I had something really unique and really special, only to find that people call me deaf lugs. And not everybody, but school is a bit like that sometimes, and being different isn't always cool, or doesn't always perceived as being cool. So perhaps that's why I've always strayed away from wearing sort of something that makes me stand out, or putting anything too loud on, or stick to the sort of muted colours. And yet, the one time I finally get myself to go to Dollywood, I didn't really think about it in advance of that, where I was going, but putting that statement coat on became kind of, oh, I know it's cheesy, but I couldn't help thinking it. It was a bit like not my coat of many colours, but my coat of connection, because wearing it meant that people came to speak to me and said hi and introduced themselves. And I just thought it's so interesting how, as humans, we can connect to each other if we're just kind and we compliment each other like that. And that you can choose to have your identity that day. And if I'm being a bit metaphorical now, bear with me again. Yes, you can put a statement coat on because you feel comfortable and it grounds you, and it sort of represents what you find interesting or what you like. And I'm sure anybody looking at somebody wearing a statement coat like that had like a 1970s Fleetwood Mac, Almost Famous type look, and see that, yeah, she probably likes music. She's wearing cowboy boots and a funky coat and got like a bag with all the fringes on it. Yeah, it's very much. There's a part of me that was showcasing what I like and what I'm interested in. But it's also another example of how it's okay to have different identities and to bring these out when you feel like it. I talked a lot about this with Sana Mandolini in episode 2 of this season 2 actually, about how all of us have multiple identities, and we pull out and we put on the coats, and these are the word that we used back then in that episode. We put on these different identity coats according to the circumstances and the environment that we're in. And when Sanam was talking about it, she was talking about how when you're a mother, you might put on, again, metaphorically, different coats in order to connect with the people in the playground. Or you might then put on a different type of metaphorical identity coat to speak to somebody in a boardroom. Or in her case, because she's a global peace builder, she has a completely different one when she's trying to negotiate complex and difficult peace negotiations. So coming full circle with this, I came away from this trip not only having had an incredible time, a wonderful special time with my husband, soaking up the energy of artistic creativity in all these different places, getting to have some really quality time with someone I love very, very much, and feeling incredibly happy in the process and very grateful that I was able to do this. But also really loving the fact that I had this special item that I'd taken with me, and I'm wearing it now as I record this episode, because it just makes me feel really happy. So I wanted to share that with you, because I wondered if anybody else feels that way. If do you have a beach sarong? I mean, I'm talking about a funky coat, a statement coat, but maybe you have different things that you take with you on holiday or on journeys that open up conversations with other people. Do you put a cowboy hat on, or do you put on a t-shirt with your favorite band on, knowing that somebody else, or hoping somebody else might go, hey, I love that band too? Isn't it great when that happens? I love it when that happens. My husband wears a lot of band t-shirts, and it's always great when somebody comes up to him, particularly when it's like a lesser well-known band and they've both been to see them or like listening to them. I just think it made me think about clothing, what we wear and how we express ourselves in a very different way and in a really positive way. And I'm going to take that forward. I'm going to keep wearing my coat of connection, my version of coat of many colours, and embrace that. Embrace being a bit more bold. It's okay to stand out sometimes. And in the same way that I learned to put my hair up in a ponytail and be okay with knowing that I wear hearing aids, I'm going to wear a statement coat and put my cowboy hat on and say, yeah, this is what I like and this is what makes me feel, happy and grounded and belonging to myself. So that's the end of my solo episode. I have no idea how it's going to sound. I'm going to listen back to it. You may or may not hear it. But if anybody wants to know a little bit more about music road trip to the Deep South, I love talking about that. Highly recommend. I booked it with the Internet Traveller and they were absolutely brilliant, so I would recommend those. And yeah, Joe Brown's is the place I go to for my statement clothes from now on. So hope you've got some lovely adventures coming up this year, 2025, whether that's locally or abroad. Either way, it'd be really fun to hear what you like taking away with you and what kind of clothing or things that you take with you that seem to open up conversations with complete strangers that often end up in beautiful exchanges in the nicest possible way, of course. Okay, on that note, I'm going to say goodbye and look forward to another episode soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye.